Hello there. Welcome into another edition of the JayMac Podcast. Today, we're going to answer another important question, and that is whether or not our president, the president of the United States, has Twitter regret or tweet regret. Does he ever send out a tweet and he feels really good about it, and then the next morning he wakes up and he says, I wish I had never sent that. Now, we don't really know if he has Twitter regret because he doesn't apologize for much. And in fact, he asks his people to go out and try and justify the tweet that he just sent out. So it's an important question to answer. Before I do that, I want to remind you that I need you so that I can keep this podcast going. Would you please take a moment and become a patron to this program? Choose to donate $1 a month, $2 a month, $5 a month, $25 a month. If you donate $50 a month, I will interview you personally on this podcast, and thank you for that. Just click on the link in the description to this podcast and make your donation. You can also find a link to that donation page on our social media. And thank you so much to those of you who have subscribed already. It really makes a difference, and it helps me bring that fearless honesty to you every single day. Now, I want to tell you why this question is important to me. Does President Trump have tweet regret? The reason why is because I have taken so much grief over the last 3.5 years from Trump supporters. I mean, grief to the point of hatred and anger, and it all comes out when I mention how I don't like this president's tweets. Now, I will go through a list of things where I supported the president. I supported his tax reform. I support so much of the deregulation. I supported his Supreme Court justices. I supported him calling out China and trying to stop us from being their whipping boy. He has done good. But I'll say that, and then I'll say, I just wish he would lay off the Twitter. And I get so many people, I can't even tell you, who attack me at that moment, as though I'm the most horrific, horrible, evil human being in the world, and I have all of these ulterior motives. No, I just don't think that he accomplishes what I think he thinks he does with his Twitter account. And I think oftentimes it becomes a distraction. Now, a lot of people think he's such a master that he does these things to distract and to control the media. I maintain that he does them because he sees something he likes and he just tweets it out without a lot of thought. So who's right? The person who thinks that he's the genius and controlling the media, or me thinking he just sees something and he just posts it? Well, guess what, my friends? We finally have the answer from President Trump. In an interview where he is more candid than I have ever seen him being, more relatable than I've ever seen him, he answers the question about his Twitter account. And does he have tweet regret? I want you to listen very carefully.
Do you sometimes, because I follow you on Twitter, and I know I do this, but I'm not the my nickname is El Prez, but I'm a company, so we're doing it. Do you ever tweet out and be like, wake up, like, oh man, I wish I didn't send that one out?
Often, too often.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be in the old days before this, you'd write a letter and you'd say, this letter's really bad. You put it on your desk and then you go back tomorrow and you say, oh, I'm glad I didn't send it, right? But we don't do that with Twitter, right? We put it out instantaneously. We feel great. And then you start getting phone calls. Did you really say this? I say, what's wrong with that? And you find a lot of things. You know what I find? It's not the tweets, it's the retweets that get you in trouble.
You've been caught with retweeting. People be like, oh, you just retweeted this crazy person. So you don't even look. You just press the retweet. Well, you just fire from the hip.
You see something that looks good, and you don't investigate it, and you don't look at what's on the helmet exactly, right, which is in miniature, and you don't blow it up. And sometimes but I have found almost always it's the retweets that get you in trouble.
This has been exactly what I have been saying the entire time. The president, it's not like he's one of us sitting here and I see a tweet and I do a Google search and I find stories that back it up and I find stories that discredit it. So it's very difficult for the average everyday American to find out if something is legitimate before you tweet it. But this is not your average everyday American. This is the leader of the free world. This is the POTUS, the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States of America. He has more staff and more ability to verify who tweets are coming from and what the backgrounds are than any person on the face of the earth, as far as I'm concerned. In other words, he has no excuses, but he does it anyway. And he continues to do it. And he doesn't apologize after the fact. He forces Kayleigh McEnany and all of these other people afterwards to come out and try and explain why it is that he retweeted something or tweeted something that had no business being tweeted. The president is explaining to you here that he's acting like an everyday American. And I'm looking for somebody to act like a president. Should there be a difference? Answer that in the comments. Should there be a difference between how your average everyday Joe handles their Twitter account and how the president of the United States handles their Twitter account? Now, in the past, I've gone after friends and family and people that I know for retweeting things that are just nonsense. And I'm like, did you even take a minute to find out if it's real? What's so amazing about this is the man who has made fake news such a primary part of his administration. Anything that is negative towards him is fake news. Anything that isn't verified, backed up, is fake news. And here he is saying that he does zero research, he likes what it says, and he just sends it forward. Now, don't you think that the President of the United States should be setting the example if he truly believes we have a fake news problem? Or has he just decided, hey, they're doing it, they're participating in fake news, so I'm going to do it? I believe and have always believed that a president should operate at a higher standard. That is why, since day one, I have been critical and have not liked his Twitter account. And from day one, people have attacked me for that very sentiment. Well, guess what? President Trump finally admitting to the world that he does not back up these tweets. He doesn't investigate. He likes what they say, and he sends them. But thank goodness, sometimes he has a little bit of Twitter regret after the fact.